Welcome to the Pipefy for Beginners webinar. My name is Isabel. I'm the Product Content Manager here at Pipefy, and today I'll present an introduction to the basic concepts in Pipefy structure. The target audience of this webinar is new Pipefy users that want to know more about the basic structure of the platform. We won't explore any of our advanced features today, but if you're interested in learning more about them, we have recordings in our webinar page. At the end of the webinar, I'm going to send you guys the link to the webinar page. This webinar is more than a simple product demonstration. Our focus today is teaching you more about the platform, how it works, and how it can help improve your company's process and its management. Many people struggle with the concept of what is a process. They tend to think that processes are documented complex activities when in real life process can be any recurring activity from making coffee every morning to flying an airplane or assembling a car. The Oxford Dictionary defines a process as a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. In other words, it's an activity made of a series of smaller parts followed by a person or a team to achieve an end. In Pipefy, each of your processes is called a pipe. You may be thinking that your company or even your department may not have reached the sophistication level required to have processes, right? That's wrong because all companies and all areas have processes, especially if they haven't been documented yet. From tiny startups to huge enterprises, processes are everywhere. Some examples of processes we can see in all companies are accounts payable and receivable, task management, expense reimbursement, recruitment, sales pipeline, customer help desk, and much more. Processes and projects are not the same thing, and consequently, they should not be managed using the same methods or even the same tools. It's very important that we set them apart to understand why there is a way to manage each one. Projects, they are finite, so they have a clear beginning, middle, and end. They are defined by a goal, such as building a house, or a time frame, so a project's going to last 2 weeks. They're unique, and once the defined limit is achieved, they're going to come to an end. Processes, on the other hand, they're continuous. They're cycles that happen repeatedly. The more you execute a process, the more you're gonna learn about it and improve it. Processes, due to the fact that they're continuous, they normally have execution rules or standards. Project and task management tools, we have a lot of those out there in the market, don't normally offer the possibility of establishing those standards, which Pipefy does. That's why it's very important for you to use the right tool to manage your process. If you try to use a project management tool to manage your process, you're probably going to have mistakes and inefficiencies because you're not going to be able to ensure a quality standard for your team. Pipefy's main interface is a Kanban. So this here on the screen is the first contact most people have with Kanban. So a board with 3 phases: to do, doing, and done, and the sticky notes represent the activities. This format is used mostly for task and project management, and it's very effective for this purpose. This tool, Kanban, it was developed in the 1950s by an industrial engineer at Toyota called Taiichi Ono, and the goal of it was to be an inventory control system. It consisted in a physical card, so a piece of paper that went through the phases of the production line in a factory to help control their parts inventory. Basically, they had those workstations and they had cards in which people took notes to make sure at the end of the production line everyone knew which parts had been used so they could control the inventory. In Pipefy, it works pretty much the same way, except for the fact that both the cards and the phases are virtual. In Pipefy's Kanban interface, you can customize the phases of your Kanban. So instead of being just to do, doing, and done, you can add fields to establish execution rules and standards so you can tell people what they need to do in each stage of your process. One of the main benefits of this interface is that it ensures a dynamic and transparent management. Every user can easily identify what each person in the team is doing, what needs to be done next, etc. Pipefy's CEO and founder, Alessio Leonso, is an expert in process management and improvement. He is a Six Sigma black belt. Even if with all his knowledge and experience, he was facing many difficulties managing the process in his previous company. So he went to search the market for the available solutions. But everything he found was either too simple to establish the pattern he needed or too complex to ensure that his team would understand and adapt. Since he couldn't find the tool that catered to his needs, he decided to develop his own. So he initially defined Pipefy as an easy, dynamic, and fully customizable way to manage process of all types. Pipefy is the best way to manage all your company's process in a single platform. What sets Pipefy apart from all the other alternatives in the market is the fact that it's simple to use and easily customizable. Our focus is on empowering the managers or the process owners to create and manage your own process without technical knowledge or depending on the IT department. Most complex process management software have a lot of coding involved, and each little change you need demands contacting IT and may take weeks, while in Pipefy you can change a field or even add a new phase to your process within seconds. Your company structure inside Pipefy is very similar to your company's actual structure. So there's the company, which is the major structure that encompasses all your team members and the processes you manage. So your pipes are inside your company. Inside your pipes, you have the phases that are the execution steps. And each phase is made of fields that are the execution rules. The cards that are going to flow through the phases of your process are the activities you're going to manage. So, for example, we may have an expense reimbursement pipe in our company. The phases of our process are inbox, approval, processing, and done. And within each of those phases, we have specific fields, and each card that flows through that process is a reimbursement request. Now we're going to take a look at our company dashboard here. This is your company's main screen inside Pipefy. You can have as many pipes as you need in your company. Each of these little squares here is a different process, or as we call them, a pipe. The company dashboard is made of a series of elements, so I'm going to go over a few of these buttons real quick so you know where to click if you need to access something specific. Up here, this is your company name, so you can change that if you're a company admin. Right next to it, there's our logo. If you click here from any other page in Pipefy, you're going to be redirected back to the company dashboard. Right here, we have the pipes view. So when we click here, we are redirected to this main view. In this view, we have my pipes, which are the pipes I'm member of. And if I had other pipes I was not member of, I would be a second section down here of other pipes. Then we have the option to access the databases. The databases are Pipefy's information storage system. So you can create tables of information to use in your process, such as employee records or product database. And you can use this information You can use specific fields to create records in your tables or just to search for the existing records. Then we have the reports. The company reports enables us to view specific information from all of our pipes, all the pipes we're members of. So it only enables us to see generic information such as ID, title, current phase, labels, due date, etc. But we can choose to see information from more than one pipe, and we can filter that information, for example, by creator. So creator is Isabel. Then I can save and see just the cards I have created. And then we have the apps and integrations option that takes us to the screen where we can access the automations feature, which is an advanced feature that enables us to create automation rules for our process, and the email messaging feature that enables us to exchange emails from within our cards. Up here is the in-app chat. So when we click on this little balloon, we're going to open a window where you can talk to our support team, or you can find an answer quickly in our help database, check if our systems are operational, and check the latest article in our blog. If you happen to have any quick question or any uh, any doubt, or you're seeing any unexpected behavior in Pipefy, simply click here in New Conversation and talk to a member of our team, and we're going to quickly help you. Then we have our notifications. So when we click on this little bell here, we can see everything that's going on that's relevant to ourselves. Then when we click on our profile picture, we're going to see a menu with these options. So my tasks, the help section, the option to switch company, keyboard shortcuts, user settings, company settings, and logout. I can only see the company settings because I am a company admin. If I were not, I would not be able to see this. Then down here, when we click here, we have the option of inviting members into our company. If your company has a paid plan, every time you invite a new member, it's going to be charged for that new member. So it's important that you only invite members you actually want to invite into your company. Then when you click here, you get to see the current members in your team and their permission levels. So when we click on this little arrow here right next to my name, you can see that we have 3 different roles within the company. So we can be a company member that can view and enjoy all public pipes. You can be an admin that can view, join all pipes, even private ones, and access and manage the company settings. And the guest user, this is a free user, it's not going to be charged, but it cannot access any pipe, so it can only create cards in public pipes. Within the pipe, you're going to see we have different permissions, so they're independent, so we can be a company member, but we can be a pipe admin at the same time. It's not directly related to each other. Let me go back to the dashboard here. This little icon here takes us to the help article about what is a company. So whenever you're on a screen and you can see this sign here, if you click on it, you're going to be sent to a screen with help for this feature. Then we have the activity log for the company. So it's kind of a timeline of all the activities in our company. So you can see cards became overdue, cards became late, it was moved, etc. And then we have the search here we can use to search for our pipes. So for example, I can search for expense and it's gonna show our pipe right here. This little star here means that I have favorite this pipe, so it's going to be displayed in front of all others. If I do the same for request screening, it's going to be displayed here as well. And this is a personal setting, so it's not going to be like this for any other user. So pipes are only going to be displayed like this for myself. And we also have this little padlock icon here, which means that this pipe is private. So it's only going to be visible to company admins or to the people that have created or been invited into it. Private pipes are very useful if you have processes that have sensitive information, such as HR process, finances, etc. Also, we have My Tasks here. What the My Tasks feature does is it shows you it shows you all your tasks, so all the cards that have been assigned to you, and they're separated by, so you can see everything that was assigned to you. The ones that are nearing the due date, I have none. The ones that are overdue, the ones that are late, and the ones that are expired. We normally recommend that as a daily routine, people check My Tasks in the morning to see what they have to do. So the cards nearing due date, and it's a very good tool for following up on your activities. Now let me open a pipe here to show you guys a bit more about a pipe. So as I mentioned, inside Pipefy, your processes are called pipes. Pipefy enables users to create pipes to manage all types of process, from simple ones such as task management to more complex ones such as managing an entire supply chain. We're going to go over the elements here in the pipe as well. So up here is the name of your company and name of the pipe. Also, when click on the logo, you go back to the company dashboard. Here's the back button. So if you want to go back to the pipe, you're going to click here from the settings, for example, or from the reports. Up here we have the same options. So in-app chat, notifications, and the menu. This that you're seeing here on the screen is the Kanban view. So it's displayed like this. So with the phases of your process and the cards inside each phase. But we also have other options. So we have the reports. Remember, I showed you guys the company reports. The pipe reports are a little different because they only show us information from this specific pipe. But since it's very specific, we get to display the information from all the fields inside our pipe. And we can also use this feature to export the data from our pipe. So simply click here and you get to download the data from your pipe. I also activated here this calendar option is actually an app that shows us our cards in a calendar. So when we click here on calendar, it's gonna display all cards that have a due date. So your cards need to have a due date in a calendar view. I think all my cards were due, yeah, past. So you can see cards here, or I have other options. So we have the week view, day, and the agenda. So since we cannot reorder cards in the pipe, they are ordered by oldest on top. We can use the agenda view on the calendar to order cards by due date. So we're gonna see them ordered by due date here. Moving back to the Kanban, here we have the option to invite members into the pipe. So you can either invite people that are already company members or new members to your company. If they're new members, they're also going to be charged. And then when we click here, we can see the permissions for this pipe. The permissions for the pipe, the roles are 5. So we can have a pipe member. The member can create new cards as well as access the existing ones to edit and move them across the pipe. So members can create cards and view all of them. The pipe admin can do the same, but he can also access and manage the pipe settings. The read-only permission cannot create cards. It can only view the existing ones and make comments on them. The restricted view can create cards, but is only allowed to view and edit cards that were either created by or assigned to them. And the start form only has limited access, so can only create new cards. Here we also have the help for this feature. So if I if I clicked here, I would be taken for an article about what is a pipe. This is the metrics, so the productivity for this pipe. This is the activity log for the pipe as well, so the same as the company, but for the pipe. This here is the filter, so we can filter cards based on members, so based on assignee. I can click here on Chewy and filter cards that are only assigned to him. I can also filter by label, or I can use the fields used in the card's title or subtitles to search. So if you want to be able to search for an information using the filter, make sure to set it up either as your card's title or subtitle. And then if you're a pipe admin, you can click in this gear icon here to view the settings sidebar. So you can access the pipe settings, start form, the phases, members, the apps. The connections is a feature that enables us to connect two pipes or a pipe to a database. The email templates is the email automation feature we have. The PDF generator enables us to create PDF templates to to create with dynamic data from with our process, and the integrations enable us to save time by integrating Pipefy with other apps. So now we know what in detail what a pipe is. So is the uh, this is your process. So your process, as we told you, is made up of phases. So a phase is a step in the execution of a process. If we were to follow the Kanban methodology strictly, the cards would move laterally from left to right through the phases of our pipe. Pipefy is a little more flexible and it enables you to edit the settings of how a card can be moved through the pipe's phases. So you can come here and select Move to Phase so we can establish where we want to be able to move the card from each phase. So you can create nonlinear flows of information if that's what your process demands. The fields are the bricks that build your pipe's form and phases. So let's open our form here. So whenever we want to create a new card, this is where we're going to click to open the form, either here or up here. So when we click on the plus icon, we open the form and it's made of fields. They're like Lego bricks that build the form and the phases. As I mentioned before, they're the execution rules. They're the ones that help us tell our team members what they need to do in each stage of the process. So they exist to let people know exactly what needs to be done, and you can use different types of fields to give instructions or ask for specific information. Here we have a field in which we can select an employee record from a database. We have radio fields in which we select expense category. We have a simple text. We have a currency field, an attachment, a date, a drop-down select. So we have, I think, almost 20 different types of field, from number to short text to email, checklist, due date, and much more, to help you establish and enforce execution standards to prevent mistakes, inefficiencies, and misunderstandings. So these are our current field types. All fields, they have a title. So the field label is the title. So this is the title. They can also have a description that's going to be displayed under. So right here, And so description can be an explanation or an actual description about the field. If you need to give a further explanation, you can have a help text that's going to be displayed in a little eye icon next to the field. And you can also establish if the field is required, so people need to fill it to move to the next phase, or to make it minimal view, so it's going to be displayed like this instead of the full field. And these two options are important because if you select this one, the field can, if you turn it off, the field can only be editable in the phase it belongs to. And if we turn it on, we're going to be able to edit from any other phase. And this one is only available for some specific field types: label, due date, assignee. And what it does is that if when the card enters the phase that has this field, it already has a label, this field is going to be automatically filled with the existing label. This pipe here is an expense reimbursement pipe. Each card represents an expense reimbursement request, right? So a card, we define cards as a visual representation of an activity in a pipe. They can represent different things in different processes. So here it's a reimbursement request. In a sales pipeline, it will be a new opportunity. In a purchase process, it will be an item to be purchased, etc. When we open the card, you can see that each card is divided into two sides. The left side here displays the information that was added in the start form here and previous phases. So we have screening. We can open down here to see everything that was added in the previous phases. And we can also customize clicking here to see other information such as comments, email, and reorder them to change. So we can click on these three dots and move up to show the other information we want to see in the left side of our card. On the right side, we can see the fields in the current phase, so what needs to be done in this phase. Up here is the name of the phase. These are the top buttons, so they're fixed information. So we can choose to display them or not by clicking on this plus icon here. So you can see some of those are not displayed. We have the option to customize the phase by clicking here. On the three dots, we have the option of editing the phase, setting up field conditionals, or deleting the card. The field conditionals is an advanced feature that enables us to show or hide fields based on conditional rules. We have the option of adding a quick comment here in our card. And down here we have the card activity log. So we can see everything that happened to this card from the moment it was created. And down here we have the action button, so we can move the card on to the next phase. So now we're going to talk a little bit about creating a new pipe. Before actually creating a new pipe, we have a few steps we normally suggest you follow according to our modeling and implementation mindset. We suggest that you gather some information about your process to make it easier for you to create it inside Pipefy. The first information you need about your process is your input. So what does it take to set your process in motion? This is what you're going to ask for in your pipes form. So this is the form you're going to use every time to create a new card. This form should ask for all the relevant information to kick off your process without adding unnecessary fields. Then, after you define the input, you're going to define the output, so the expected result of your process. What's going to be your success metric that will determine that your process ended successfully, and what will you use to measure the result of your process? You need to keep in mind that you can only measure the information you add to your process. So When you're building the process, make sure to add the fields with the data you're going to want to measure at the end of it. Then, after we establish point A, which is the input, and point B, which is the output, we need to find out what does it take to go from one point to the other. So this is when we're going to start thinking about the phases and fields. We can have as many as we need to ensure the execution. Also, when creating a new process, again, you can't forget about the data you're going to want to extract from it. You can only extract the data you've added to the process. So think about the reports you're going to need from your process. Think about the fields you're going to want in those reports and make sure to add them to your process. Actually, creating a new pipe, the practical aspect of it is really simple. So here in the company dashboard, we scroll all the way to the end and click on the Add New Pipe option. When we are in this screen, we have the option of creating a new pipe from scratch. So it's going to be a simple pipe with 3 phases and a single field. Or we have the option of choosing from one of our pre-designed templates. We have quite a few templates available here, but you can also access pipefy.com-templates, where you can find hundreds of different templates developed by our solutions design team to help you base your process on. As I mentioned, everything about Pipefy is customizable. So if a specific template is not exactly what you need, you can download it for free. So you can clone it to your company and then you can modify it to make sure it's going to suit your exact needs. So you don't need to use the exact process we offer you. You can tailor it to your needs. Everything about it can be edited. I mentioned while showing you guys our platform some of our features and apps, but we offer many advanced features and apps focused on helping you improve your process and save time. We actually have webinars on almost all of them. So if you're interested in any specific one, please let me know. Contact me in a in-app chat, and I can tell you all about them because they're very interesting and they can help improve the efficiency of your process a lot. We have automation, connection, email templates, field conditionals, SLA control, integrations, reports, database, and much more. I would like to thank everyone for joining the Pipefy for Beginners webinar. If you have any question, feel free to reach out via the in-app chat or directly in the support@pipefy.com email. Thanks again for joining, and I hope to see you all in our next webinars. Have a great rest of your day.